Chris, we'll start with last week. A disappointing day for the side.
Yeah, I think looking back at that, pretty damaging result really. I think I had fears that there was a possibility that something like this could happen at some stage in the first part of the season once all the injuries we'd received all those injuries, and unfortunately fears came through, and we were found really wanting against a team that was just far too physical, far too professional and far too experienced for us.
Given the challenge you had with the squad, you didn't really need to come up against an Irish side that were on top of their game as well on the day.
Yeah, they were, but once again, I mean, it's quite easy to be on top of their game. It was easy for them to be on top of their game because we didn't really throw them anything that really tested them in any areas of the game. We made a few line breaks, probably could have scored a couple of tries, but they would have, we were never in it, and we weren't even close.
3 new recruits already announced this week. I know you're working on more. Does that give everyone a lift that we're moving in the right direction?
Yeah, well, I mean, behind the scenes, there's been a lot of work going on, and I've been transparent with the current squad that there will be changes in people coming in, and but hadn't given any detail, and now the detail is starting to filter through. We've had 3, and there's another batch around the corner, and another after that. So. The reality is that the squad is going to look different. It is definitely going to be stronger, and there's going to be competition for positions, which is what we want.
How good is it to bring Craig Mitchell back? Obviously someone who knows the club, so that bedding in process you normally have with a new player, he's already done that work.
Yeah, well, when I was here for the last 5 games of last season, he was a standout. The level of professionalism that he brought to the environment was something that we needed to match. His on-field ability, his scrummaging, and his general play around the field, just basically mirrored that he's been an international player, and to have him back, a massive lift in confidence for those around him in the tight 5.
Another player who Yorkshire Carnegie fans will get to see for the first time on Friday night, Lachlan Curry. What can you tell us about him? Yeah,
well, Lachlan's a young boy from Sydney or Queensland in Australia who has Scottish heritage. So a good friend of mine said that this boy's got all the goods. He just needs an opportunity and some development in a full-time environment. He's been with us for about 6 weeks now, just ticking away. He's got a lot to learn and a long way to go. He's a back rower that's converting to hooker, and with our injury situation, and he's trained well, it's a great opportunity for him to be on the bench this weekend covering the back row.
Talking of hookers, there's been some news on that this week as well. Dylan Donlan's agreed a contract with us to remain at the club, and Joe Buckle came back last week. How's he been after his spell in that game?
Yeah, well, I mean, Joe's a different man. He was in a bit of a bad way after his head knocks and the concussion stuff, but he's had some really good help in that space, and he's in a really good mindset. Coming back, I mean, Joe is he's a very physical player. He's very demanding. He's very, very competitive, and he's an outstanding scrummager. So with Craig Mitchell and Joe scrummaging in the front row, I think we'd like to think that our scrum will hold its own.
Scottish side we had a few tosses with last season. What are you expecting from them on Friday night?
Yeah, well, they're going well. I'm not sure where they are on the table. I don't look at it, to be honest, at the moment. But they're a strong side right across the park. They've got a solid set piece. They like to attack. They've got a dangerous back 3. We're going to have to go out there, and we're going to have to be really, really clinical in our tackle technique and attempting to slow the ball down, and so we can get time to get a good defensive line and come forward, and then an attack as well too. Speed of ball away from the breakdown is going to be crucial to try and isolate opportunities on the edge.
Matt Smith went off with an injury last week. How's he?
Well, Matt's fine in the sense that there was no damage, no structural damage, which is fantastic. That was the big concern, but all the scans showed that he's okay. Unfortunately, his neck muscles to protect any damage that is around there have locked up, and he won't be available. Yeah, we'll work through it. Hopefully we might have him back on the park for Coventry next week.
And the good news on the injury front, there's a few coming back as well.
Yeah, there are. Well, Pete Lucock will be back on the field this week, and that'll be a real lift. We've still got a wee way to go with some of them, but I mean, just having the likes of Myerscough back as well after a week off, Pete, Craig Mitchell, Joe Buckle back in, it really does move us in the right direction.
You mentioned there you're not looking at the league table. Is it hard to get the players to buy into that as well and keep their mood up?
No, I mean we start each week. If we play, our Monday training session starts early in the morning on a Monday, and we have a thing called a strategy meeting, where the coaches and the players sit down and we ask the players' opinions on what they've seen about the team we're playing the next week, how we should attack them, how we should defend them, because it's important that the players have an input into that. It's not compulsory. We had the full squad turn up to it on Monday morning, so that just shows me that these guys do care. I mean, they were extremely embarrassed and disappointed with the outcome against Irish down in London, but you know, there's two ways you can deal with that. You can hide away from it, you can front up to it, and fair play to them, they've all fronted up to it.
Having seen that Irish performance, do you think that anyone will be able to run them close for that promotion spot?
Yeah, well, I think Ealing's probably the form team outside of that at the moment, and I think the thing about this league is that the way it's panning out is, on its day, anyone could possibly beat anyone. It's a lot more balanced and a lot more even, and I think as teams change moving through the season, it'll be interesting to see how some of those results go.